Today, I want to talk to you about what the psychological needs of children are and what they are not. Raising great kids is a privilege and a responsibility. Sometimes our children can't see their own greatness. Sometimes we can't. Other times we can see their greatness but struggle to step up because of our own challenges. We will be discussing the brain science, tools and techniques that help us raise great kids. Now, in school, we have lots of children, right? So in a classroom, we could have anywhere between 22 and 27 children in the younger grades, even higher under special circumstances. But we often will have a child that displays behaviors, and the school psychologist will come in to help us teachers out. And then they'll ask us, oh, is your child trying to get attention, or do they want power? And I also hear a lot out there, that children, you just need to fill their attention bucket and their power bucket every day. And if you do that, then things are great. And I would give attention to the children. I'd give them power. They get to choose. They have multiple places they could sit, or they could choose whether they're going to do this activity or that activity. There were lots of choices to give them the power, as the school psychologist was explaining to me, and I was giving them attention. And often in school, it's like a little reward. Oh, thanks for listening. You get a star, a smiley face, or whatever it is. And then when they fill up that paper, then they get a treat or reward or something of some kind. And so, we're doing that. And one time I even had a child, I'd go and I would sit with him to give him attention, and then he'd get all kind of like persnickety. And so then I say, okay, I'm going to back off and I'll just let him have his choices. But then he'd come and he'd really get in my face, like, I want that attention. But when I was giving him that attention, he was totally escalating. And so I would say, okay. And I say, oh, well, you can choose this or that, and it would just go higher and higher and higher. And it would be where he's like poking me in the face. And he's a student where multiple times we've had to evacuate the classroom from his escalations, evacuate all the other students. And so I'm like, okay, I'm giving him attention. I'm giving him power. I really, truly don't know what else I can do, because I'd be up there teaching the students, and I'd be over there, every minute, sometimes even sooner, giving him a mark on the paper, trying to keep him engaged. And what else can I do? And so when I found out much later, and in searching for things for myself and my own personal children, not my students, then I discovered that there are 6 psychological needs. And again, power is not a psychological need. Attention is not a psychological need. These are tools that, again, will sometimes help you meet the psychological needs. So let's talk about the psychological needs. And this will just be a super quick overview. You could go into each psychological need super deep, but today we're just gonna do a quick overview. So the first one is certainty. Right? We need to know that there's safety, that we're sure of certain things, like we're sure the sun's going to come up in the morning. That's a certainty. It's not worth going to work unless there's some kind of certainty that I'm going to get paid. All right, so there's this need for certainty, safety, comfort. Those are some other words that kind of fall under that category. And then the other one is the opposite. So we have certainty. We need to know that these things are stable and safe. And then we have uncertainty. And uncertainty and certainty, you might think, huh? So another word you might use for uncertainty is variety. So in our life, we want variety, right? Why do people go on vacation? Why are we excited to have holidays? It's not just because we get things and yummy food and stuff. It's because it's a change. It's different. So we get a little variety in our lives. There's people who like to eat the same food, and that meets their need of certainty. They eat these 5 same foods. That meets that need of certainty for them. But then there's other people where that's too much certainty. I want some variety in my life. I like to try new foods. I like to do all those things. And so variety, or that uncertainty, is another need we have. So we have both, right? They're opposites. They're kind of in juxtaposition of each other, but we need both in our lives. And then the third one is that love. And love is like a huge one, but it's so hard to meet. Like sometimes we don't know how to meet it. So then we settle for connection. And so, for example, when that student was poking me in the face, right, that's a physical connection, but it's also an emotional connection, like in a unbeneficial way, right? So if you have children that fight or things like that, you'll find that behaviors often have multiple needs, but often you'll find that that connection or that love is one of them. Well, if I can't figure out how to feel that unconditional love or feel love, I will settle for connection. And sometimes that physical aggression is one way that children can meet that need for connection. Okay, so we have certainty, uncertainty, love/connection, right? And then we have significance. Am I significant to someone? Do I make a difference? Is there something unique? So that's another word we could use instead of significance. Am I unique? Do we feel our individuality, and that because of that individuality, we have something important or special about us that makes us us, and significant to other people because of that uniqueness. I don't know if it's exactly because of that uniqueness, but that we feel that. And so that is significance. And you'll find that one too, if one person, one child pounds on another person, they're having that connection, but also, hey, I'm significant in your life. I just made it so that da 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 da. And so that's also kind of like that unbeneficial way to meet that significance. So that next one, growth, is kind of like a higher level. So even love and connection, as far as like energy goes, is even lower than growth. And so that feeling right. Sometimes people who are depressed, or some people will say they're bored, or some things like this, really they feel stuck, right? And when you feel stuck, it's often because of that absence of growth. And so sometimes you can hear for the negative, or I don't want to necessarily say negative, but kind of like an opposite direction for some of these needs. And so if we're feeling stuck, that's because we're not meeting that need of growth. And you can have growth in one area, but not another area. So like these cover like all areas of our life. So there's no simple, okay, I've met this need, or this is the one psychological need. These all interact together. And so it can be tricky to figure out, like, well, what is it that my child is needing, like what is the need they're trying to meet, so that I can help them find it in a more beneficial way. But before we get on to that, let's talk about that last psychological need, and that is the need for contribution. And again, some people say, well, what's the difference between contribution and that significance or that uniqueness? And so that contribution is more, less of, it's about me, significance a little more about me, that I feel that, and that I am different and things. And contribution is more about, contributing or growing society, rather than significance, which is just kind of, I don't want to say it's just that, but that's one of the differences. It is more about me, where contribution is more about others. And that's just one way they're different. So there's multiple ways that they're different, but that's the one I'll mention today. So that is a really quick overview of the 6 psychological needs. And I first heard this from Tony Robbins, and then I've heard it a lot of places. So I'm not sure if he started it or where it began. But as I've really looked at these and looked at how it plays in my life and in my classroom and in my family, then I go, there's something to this. There's something real to this. And so we will continue talking about this as we go forward. But thank you for being on this journey with me. Children are great by their very natures, and we do have that responsibility and that privilege to teach them. And if you would like to get in contact with me, feel free to visit my website, www.raisinggreatkids.net, and feel free to like and subscribe so that you can see when more videos come out. Hi friends, Cynthia Armstrong here. Thanks for joining us today. Please make sure that you subscribe to our channel so you can see when new videos come out, and like this one. It is such a responsibility and a challenge to raise great kids, and we are here to help you along that journey to make it as enjoyable and fun and fulfilling as possible. Please check out our website, www.raisinggreatkids.net, and I will leave that in the description below.